Hey folks, so this is a follow-up video to the aftermath of my solo protest, which I held 2 days ago on a Saturday, where I walked my ass from the Brooklyn Bridge all the way to Times Square for about 4 hours. And I had a lot of interesting observations and interactions with folks that I felt were necessary and important to share. And I'll start with me on Broadway. And I was stopped by 3 different Asian folks for the first 20 minutes of walking. And already there I felt really inspired because one of them wanted to take a photo of me. The other person stopped and just said, "Thank you, I appreciate what you're doing." And the other person just wanted to have a dialogue with me. But after those 20-30 minutes of walking, for the rest of my time, there were no other Asian folks that really came up to me. No kind of emotional responses, no kind of praise or anything, nothing. Because the rest of my interactions were with, white or black folks. And why is this important to me? Well, I know that there are many of us who give a damn in the Asian community, and I know that there are a lot who don't, because they're wrapped in fear, and they'd rather just not get involved with any kind of issue on this matter. They would rather not talk to the police. They would rather not go to court or things like that, because it's just not built into them, unfortunately. And I thought that our voices, a very underutilized weapon that we possess, that we don't really use often, is disappointing to me, because people in North Korea, people in China, they would beg for this privilege. They would want this voice that we have, that we occasionally just give up. On another note, when I got to 42nd Street, a man handing out pamphlets, he looked at my sign and he was a few meters away from me and he said, "But you're responsible for this," meaning I was responsible for the virus. And at that point, then and there, I noticed that he was the kind of person that just failed to disassociate the individual from the place of where disasters just happen, right? It's easier to blame an entire group of people, and it's too difficult, it's too abstract to do your own research on why the government failed to cover things up, or not failed to cover things up, but succeeded in covering things up. But they just rather, get it over with, blame a person they see in front of them, get this, quick satisfaction, this quick release, because it's too hard, it's too impossible to blame a select group of powerful individuals, right? It's rather easier to just prey upon this old elderly Asian man, woman, and, that's fucked up. That's all I'm gonna say. Another encounter was being stopped around West 36th Street, and I was taking a break, standing outside a store, checking my phone. My sign is dangling, right? This big old sign is just dangling away. And some, old white guy in his mid-60s comes and walks up to me. And he bends over, reads my sign. He says, "Hey, thank you so much for that sign. I really like what you're doing." And then I say, "Hey, oh, thanks so much, But then he goes on to say, "I just think Asians are just intellectually superior to everybody else. I love your culture. I think it's the best. You guys just never end up in trouble. You guys are just, always being good people." A lot of shit like that. On top of that, he was a COVID conspiracist. He believed our democracy was headed towards a dictatorship, that we were headed towards fascism. He believed in vaccines, but did not believe in masks, because he was not wearing a mask, nor did he promote masks. So that's kind of a contradiction. And he's been sipping a lot of Kool-Aid. Why is this guy important? Well, okay, I'm tired of having this conversation, but this is why it's important. Because he was assuming an entire race of people are just great, or just smart, right? Why is that bad? Why are positive stereotypes horrible? Why is it bad to assume that this whole race of people, they're always well behaved, they're always modeled citizens, and they have the best culture? Why is that so bad? Because it makes us invisible. right? And what's happening right now with all this brutality is my case in point, because not a lot of the media gives a damn, and we have to depend on B-list celebrities to frickin' have our voices heard. Not A-list, B-list, and C-lists, okay? You make an entire race's struggle non-existent. You assume we don't have any trauma, that we're not dealing with any depression, that we're not in any way kind of impoverished, right? That Asian student in class that you were with in high school, in junior high school, right? You probably copied off of him because, hey, he or she always had those color-coded notes, that really nice, cute pen or pencil holder, right? They always came with a nice book bag and everything. You copied off that kid. But hey, what if that kid just came out of a house where his parents were hitting him, or where his parents were suffering from some kind of mental illness, or maybe they just lost their job, whatever kind of shit that they were in? Teachers tend to forget that. People tend to forget that. Colleges tend to forget that. Okay? I'm not going to go there, but that's why it's horrible to assume that these people, our people, don't have any issues, aren't struggling in any kind of way, because we are. Lastly, I just want to say that one thing I've been noticing about the Asian and Black community is there is a conflict of interests. A lot of the Black community wants to defund the police, and a lot of the Asian community are just begging for the police's help with what's been going on. I don't really know what the right answer is, but that's just a quick observation I made, is that there's this, I want this, but they want this, but we gotta work together. We gotta find some common ground. We can't let what's been happening make us generalize an entire group of people, because, again, that makes us no better than anyone else, right? We have to find a better solution, a better resolve for things. And if we don't learn to work together, then nothing's going to get resolved. So that's that.